Now let's find out what's happening in the world of sports. Here's Charles Eruka.
Well, thanks, Bimbo. Welcome to Sports News. Nigeria Super Eagles will feature in an 8-team invitational tournament ahead of the 2014 FIFA World Cup. Reports say the African champions, along with world champions Spain, have been listed to participate in the tournament built to hold between May the 27th and June the 10th in the United States. The tournament, tagged Road to Brazil, organized by Major League Soccer, also includes Nigeria's group opponents Bosnia-Herzegovina, Greece, Honduras and Cote d'Ivoire. Bolivia and El Salvador are two non-World Cup bound countries listed for the showpiece. In club soccer, Nigeria's Globe Premier League has been rated as the fourth strongest league in Africa. In a latest publication by the International Federation of Football History and Statistics for the year 2013, Tunisia tops the list, Egypt is second, while Morocco is third best. Football leagues from Mali, South Africa, Algeria, Angola, Cameroon and Ghana complete the top 10 in Africa. At the global stage, the strongest league for the year 2013 is the Spanish La Liga. The English Premier League is ranked second ahead of the German League, while the Italian and Brazilian leagues complete the top 5. Of African internationals, the Court of Arbitration for Sport, CAS, says it has dismissed the Cape Verdean Football Federation's appeal against FIFA rulings awarding Tunisia a 3-0 victory in a decisive 2014 World Cup qualifying match last September. CAS insists that Cape Verde's argument was unfounded and FIFA disciplinary rules were quite clear. FIFA overturned Cape Verde's original 2-0 victory because it fielded defender Fernando Varela, who was serving a 4-match ban after being sent off in a previous qualifier. Tunisia advanced to the African playoffs round but was eliminated last November by Cameroon. In basketball, Spain have been selected as top seeds in Group A at the draw for the first ever Basketball World Cup in Barcelona from August the 30th to September the 14th. The Spaniards were joined in Group A by Egypt, Iran, Serbia, Brazil and France. Argentina were drawn as top seeds in Group B, where they'll be facing African champions Senegal, the Philippines, Croatia, Puerto Rico and Greece. The United States, who have Spain as one of the main rivals for the title, are the leading team in Group C and will be facing Finland, New Zealand, Ukraine, the Dominican Republic and Turkey. The head of Australia's Swimming Association, John Bertrand, has offered his support for Olympic champion Ian Thorpe. The swimming great was admitted to rehab after being found disoriented and behaving oddly. Thorpe made his Olympic debut as a teenager in Sydney 2000. He retired in 2006 and made a comeback early in 2011 but failed to make the Australian team for London 2012 Olympic Games. Well, talking about Olympics, International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach earlier today paid tribute to victims of the recent bombings in Volgograd. The December bombings, which killed 34 people, were aimed at derailing the Olympics, on which President Vladimir Putin has staked his and his country's reputation. Bach has discouraged athletes from demonstrating against the controversial anti-gay law on the podium, but said they could express their opinions at news conferences without fear of sanction. And that's it on Sports News. It's back to Bimbo with the rest of the news at 10.
Unveiling the new look of Guinness. Discover a colorful world of more.
Thank you, Charles. Let's look at some foreign stories now. Pakistan's Taliban negotiators have criticized the failure of representatives to be present at peace talks in Islamabad despite its shaky start. The reason the government side missed the talks was because they wanted more clarification on representatives of the group E-Taliban Pakistan. They are the militants who have been fighting against the government since 2007. Much earlier today, a blast outside a hotel in a Shia neighborhood north of Peshawar killed at least 8 people and injured 26 others. The government says it still expects the talks to continue, especially as soon as it receives more information on the makeup of the Taliban team and how much authority it had to negotiate. Meanwhile, Cynthia Arre has more on the day's other top stories on the foreign scene.
Yes, indeed, it's World Cancer Day, and according to the World Health Organization, the globe is facing a tidal wave of cancer, and if things are going to get any better, restrictions on alcohol and sugar need to be considered. The WHO believes there is now a real need to focus on cancer prevention by tackling smoking, obesity, and drinking, as there is startling naivety about diet's role in cancer. Then, the Russian government says Syria should complete the shipment of its chemical weapons out of the country by the 1st of March, as it is weeks behind schedule. Deputy Foreign Minister Gennady Gatilov says that the authorities in Damascus were planning a large shipment this month. Also today, a French court has begun hearing the landmark trial of a former Rwandan intelligence chief charged with complicity in the 1994 genocide. Pascal Simbikangwa was arrested in 2008 when he was living under an alias on France's Indian Ocean island of Mayotte. He denies all the charges that have been laid up against him. Plus, one policeman and up to 4 militants have been killed in a clash in the Tunisian capital, Tunis. The shooting started when police tried to raid a house in the seaside suburb of Rawed last night. Tunisian security forces have fought a long campaign against Islamist militants over the last 2 years. And those are the top stories on the foreign scene.
Thank you, Cynthia. And the main news again. The CBN governor today appeared before the Senate committee, insisting that the NNPC still has to account for $20 billion. The chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance, Ahmed Makarfi, picked holes in Mr. Sanusi's presentation, affirming that the Senate appropriated funds for subsidy payments in the period mentioned by the CBN governor. The National Council of State has approved the holding of the national conference proposed by the federal government, and at least 8 people have been killed and 26 injured in a blast outside a Shia mosque in Peshawar, Pakistan. Well, thank you very much for tuning in to the news at 10. We've come to the end of the bulletin, but tomorrow is another day, and we look forward to seeing you then. I'm Bimbo Loire. Bye for now.